Ever wondered how walkie-talkies work? In the realm of instant communication, these small yet powerful devices have stood the test of time. They're not just toys or props from old war movies. They're key tools in various fields, from security to event management. But how do they transform simple voice commands into radio waves, transmitting them miles away? It's not magic, but science. A fascinating science that's easier to understand than you might think. So, are you ready? Dive in to discover the fascinating world of walkie-talkies. Imagine you're on a hiking trip, and your cell phone signal vanishes. What do? Well, if you have a walkie-talkie, you're in luck. Walkie-talkies are compact handheld devices that let you communicate over vast distances, regardless of cellular or internet signals. They're a lifeline for adventurers, emergency responders, and even kids playing in the backyard. But how do these nifty little gadgets work? Well, the magic happens through the power of radio waves. You see, when you talk into your walkie-talkie, your voice is converted into an electrical signal. This signal is then sent out as a radio wave. Think of it like throwing a stone into a pond. The stone is your voice, and the ripples it creates are the radio waves. These waves travel at the speed of light, around 186,000 miles per second. They can go over mountains, penetrate forests, and even bounce off the atmosphere. They're a bit like superheroes, overcoming obstacles to get your message across. The other walkie-talkie, or any device tuned to the same frequency, receives these radio waves. It then converts them back into electrical signals, and finally, into sound. This is how your friend hears your voice, even if they're miles away. So what makes walkie-talkies so special? It's their ability to operate in situations where other communication methods fail. When hiking in remote areas or during power outages, cell phone and internet signals may be unavailable, but walkie-talkies, they just need a clear line of sight and some batteries to keep going. They're like the reliable old friends who've got your back no matter what. And there you have it, the basic concept of walkie-talkies. They're not just toys or props in action films. They're powerful communication tools that rely on the impressive might of radio waves. So, when you press that talk button, you're sending your voice miles away, all thanks to radio waves. But how exactly do these radio waves carry our voices? You might be wondering. Well, allow me to explain the fascinating science behind it. Radio waves, in essence, are just another form of light that our eyes can't see. They're a part of the electromagnetic spectrum, which encompasses everything from gamma rays to visible light to radio waves. Now, these waves can carry information. And how do they do that? By modulating or changing their frequency or amplitude. Think of it like this. Imagine you're at a lake and you toss a pebble into the water. The pebble creates ripples or waves that move across the lake. The size of the waves and the speed at which they move can change based on how hard you throw the pebble. This is similar to how radio waves work. When you speak into a walkie-talkie, your voice is transformed into an electrical signal. This signal then affects the frequency or amplitude of the radio waves being sent out by the walkie-talkie. Just as the size and speed of the ripples on the lake can represent different things, the changes in the radio waves can represent the different sounds of your voice. And here's the amazing part. These modulated radio waves can travel long distances, even through buildings and other obstacles, carrying your voice with them. When they reach another walkie-talkie, they're transformed back into an electrical signal and then back into sound, allowing your voice to be heard clearly on the other end. This process is very similar to how light waves carry visual information. The colors we see are simply different frequencies of light waves, and objects can modulate these waves to create the myriad of colors and shapes that our eyes perceive. So in a nutshell, radio waves are like invisible messengers, carrying our voices across vast distances, through walls and mountains, to reach the ears of those we wish to communicate with. Just like how light waves allow us to see, radio waves enable us to hear each other over long distances. Now, let's look under the hood. What happens inside a walkie-talkie when you press the talk button? At the heart of this handheld device lies a complex circuitry, a miniature world of electronic components working together to transport your voice across distances. The three key players in this process are the microphone, the amplifier, and the antenna. Imagine yourself pressing the talk button and speaking into the walkie-talkie. Your voice, which is essentially a sound wave, enters the microphone. This is where the first transformation takes place. The microphone, a marvel of miniaturization, converts the sound waves of your voice into electrical signals. It's like translating your words into a language that the walkie-talkie can understand. Once the sound waves are converted into electrical signals, they are quite weak and need a boost to be transmitted over long distances. This is where the amplifier comes in. As the name suggests, the amplifier amplifies or strengthens these electrical signals. Think of it as a personal trainer for the electrical signals, pushing them to their maximum potential. After being amplified, the electrical signals are now ready for the next stage of their journey. They arrive at the antenna, where the final transformation occurs. Here, the antenna takes these beefed-up electrical signals and converts them into radio waves. It's like the electrical signals are given wings to fly. This antenna then broadcasts the radio waves out into the world. They are now free to travel through the air, ready to reach the receiving walkie-talkie, where the process will be reversed to convert the radio waves back into sound. So the next time you pick up a walkie-talkie, remember the intricate dance of transformations taking place inside. From sound waves to electrical signals to radio waves, your message is transformed and ready to travel the airwaves. So from your voice to an electrical signal to a radio wave, your message is ready to travel the airwaves. So we've sent a message, but how does the other walkie-talkie receive it? Well, let's break it down. The process of receiving a message involves three main components: the antenna, amplifier, and speaker. Each plays a vital role in ensuring that your message is received as intended. First up is the antenna. Acting as the ears of the walkie-talkie, the antenna is designed to capture incoming radio waves. These waves are the same ones that were sent out from the transmitting walkie-talkie, carrying your voice message through the air. Picture the antenna as a net, catching these invisible waves so they can be transformed back into something we can understand: human language. Once the radio waves are caught, they are still pretty weak. They've traveled a certain distance, and much like a runner at the end of a marathon, they're a bit worn out. This is where the amplifier comes into play. The amplifier's job is a bit like a personal trainer at a gym. It takes the weak radio waves and gives them a boost, strengthening the signal so it can be processed properly. Now that our radio wave is strong and ready, it's time for the speaker to take the stage. The speaker's role is to convert the amplified electrical signal back into sound waves. It's a bit like a translator, taking the language of radio waves and converting it back into something we can understand: spoken words. This conversion is done by vibrating a diaphragm that produces sound waves matching the incoming signal. And just like that, the process comes full circle. From speaking into one walkie-talkie, to your voice traversing the air as radio waves, and finally re-emerging as sound from the speaker of the receiving walkie-talkie. It's a symphony of technology and science, working in harmony to make communication possible. And voila, your message has been received, loud and clear. Now let's tie it all together. We've embarked on quite a journey today, unraveling the mystique of the humble walkie-talkie. We've seen how they operate on the basic principle of converting sound into electrical signals and then into radio waves. It's a process as intriguing as it is complex, and it all starts with a simple push of a button. When we speak into the microphone, our voice creates sound waves. These sound waves are then converted into electrical signals through a process known as transduction. This is where the walkie-talkie circuitry comes into play, transforming these electrical signals into radio waves. The magic truly lies with these radio waves. Invisible to the naked eye, they carry our voices across vast distances, through walls and around corners. They're like the invisible messengers of the walkie-talkie world, always ready to deliver our words to the listener on the other end. And when these radio waves reach their destination, they're converted back into electrical signals by the receiver's circuitry. These electrical signals are then transformed back into sound waves, recreating our original message for the listener to hear. So in essence, every time we use a walkie-talkie, we're participating in a fascinating dance of conversion, transmission, and reception. It's a dance that's been choreographed by science and executed by technology. So the next time you use a walkie-talkie, you'll know the science behind every word you speak.